Good morning, Ambazonia. Good morning, Ground Zero, and good night, good evening, USA. If you live in the USA, I suppose it is night right now. If you live in Europe, it is good morning. In Asia, I really don't know what time it is there now, but I'm glad to be here to bring you a very special message at this very crucial moment in our revolution. Please, as usual, I'd like you to go ahead and hit that share button. I'm not expecting so many people to show up watching this, but this message is very important for Ground Zero, and the reason I brought it at this hour is because they need to get it early today. It's a Saturday morning as I speak on Ground Zero right now, and we hope that everybody gets it by way of ABC television and, of course, online too. I will wait a few moments and get some people gathered up, and I will bring you the presentation. So please, thank you for joining. Go ahead, hit that share button. Let's get a few people to come up. Very, very important. This has to do with French Cameroon election they're trying to force upon us in our own country. That election is not taking place, is not holding, and beginning the 20th of this month, we are making, we are declaring a curfew that people on Ground Zero have to observe. And as I come to you this morning, tonight, again, depending on where you're watching from, you are going to get specific instruction. We are not just announcing a date and banning some activities. We're actually going to tell you what is going to happen between September 20th all the way to October the 8th. September 20th to all the way October the 8th. Now remember, in the diaspora, we shall be celebrating, not, let me use the word commemorating. In the diaspora, October the 28th, September the 28th, all the way through to October 1st, we shall be commemorating the anniversary celebration of our Independence Day. Again, the independence commemoration of our Declaration of Independence. Those activities are coming up beginning September the 28th, and all routes in the United States will lead to Washington, D.C. Across the globe, especially in Europe, all country heads or country coordinators will be organizing events to commemorate this great day in the history of our revolution. Remember, it was this time last year, October 1st, that we went out and declared and proclaimed the restoration of our independence. It is but fitting, especially at this moment, 1 year after, that we are still standing, we are still resisting. It is but fitting that we step out there and commemorate that day and remember that day, and also pay allegiance to those who fell on that day, those that the Republic of Cameroon soldiers cut down on that day. It's a day of remembrance, remembering our restoration, remembering our brothers, our sisters, our fathers, our mothers, our children who were killed fighting for our independence, our restoration last year around this time. Please, thank you for joining. I see the numbers are climbing rapidly right now. As you join, just go ahead. Please hit that share button. I am not going to hold you captive here for a long time. In the short while, I will come to you straight and present and do the presentation. I just want to gather a few people because I know quite a lot of people are still in bed. Thank you, all of you. Thanks, all of you, from Ground Zero for your resilience, and for your courage to go through what is happening there. We respect you. Without you, there will be no revolution, because in the diaspora, we cannot come over there. You know that I take a flight from here to Chico, they won't allow me to land. And so with the acting president, he will not land. Many of us will not land. But because you are present on ground zero, we are in a partnership. We are able to gather funds and send to you to carry out the revolution. It's a partnership. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, I will go ahead and bring you this broadcast or this presentation at this moment. However, I hope you will continue to hit that share button. Please continue to hit that share button as I bring you this presentation. Make sure that we hit at least 1,000 people by the time this presentation is over. And the subject of this presentation is no movement in Ambazonia, beginning September the 20th through October the 8th. Again, this is our no movement policy beginning September the 20th to October the 8th. Fellow Ambazonians, after careful consideration and consultation with our ASC commanders and restoration forces commanders across Ambazonia, the interim government is issuing a policy directive titled No Movement Policy to ensure safety and security of our citizens and their property, which is our primary concern. The interim government has ordered no movement of persons, of cars, motorbikes throughout the territory of Ambazonia between September the 20th and October the 12th, 2018. In addition, the no movement policy applies to vessels within the nautical miles of Ambazonia waters and airspace of Ambazonia. The period from September 20th to October the 12th, 2018 will be particularly challenging in the Ambazonia Liberation War. Therefore, we urge all persons to strictly comply to this policy for their own safety and security. We are experiencing a worsening security situation in the months of September and insecurity in October. That is line with a critical event in the Ambazonia Liberation War. First, Cameroon's government is seeking to stop the celebration of our first independence anniversary declaration of 1st October 2017 within our internationally recognized territory, land of birth. To achieve their aim, soldiers from French Cameroon's regular army have conducted gruesome massacre of unarmed civilians in Chomba and have staged a roadblock in the Akumbamenda Road. These public brutal killings and torture of travelers by French Cameroon soldiers and state-sponsored terrorists, Atanganji militia, are part of Cameroon's government kill to frighten policy to subjugate our citizens to perpetual slavery and servitude under the French Cameroon government. Friends, do not be fooled. Cameroon soldiers are ruthless thugs and bloodsuckers. They are not your friends. They will arrest, kill, and torture you, whether you are armed or not. The Cameroon government is bent to stage their presidential election campaigns and voting within our Ambazonian territory. We want to be clear to the international community and anyone deceived by the Cameroon government. We have no problem if the French Cameroon government conducts campaigns and elections within their internationally recognized boundary at independence in 1961. In addition, we want to reiterate that Ambazonia is at war with French Cameroon since November 2017. We will take every step and use every means available to defend our citizens and their property within our recognized boundaries. To that end, we cannot guarantee the safety and security of persons visiting Ambazonia during this critical period of war. In preparation for these days, we advise all citizens within Ambazonian territory to stock their homes with enough basic needs. Stock your homes with food, with water, medicine, kerosene, fuel, battery, torchlight, and lamps. Given the lives lost, suffering of Ambazonians in the bushes, the deteriorating and the complexity of insecurity environment, our restoration forces cannot distinguish who is an infiltrator of French Cameroon-sponsored militia. Thus, anyone within Ambazonia must take a clear stand now. You are either with Ambazonia or you are against Ambazonia. To this end, we advise citizens of French Cameroon to vacate Ambazonia before September 20th for their own safety and security. More importantly, we advise all French Cameroon appointed administrators, the governors, the SDOs, the DOs, military, police, and civil servants and their families to vacate Ambazonia at their earliest convenience. We cannot guarantee your safety and security in Ambazonia. This must not be misunderstood to mean that Ambazonia is not open and welcoming to other citizens of the world. On the contrary, we welcome all citizens of the world to Ambazonia. But given the worsening security situation and the existence of sponsored militias by French Cameroon government to kill civilians, including foreigners, as a way to attract sympathy from the international community, we find it in the interest of global peace and security to restrict movements to Ambazonians only during this period. We want to note that foreign observers are a particular target by Cameroon's military to assassinate and blame it on our restoration forces. We therefore urge all foreign observers, election observers, to the presidential election of French Cameroon scheduled for October 7, 2018, to refrain from entering Ambazonian territory, because we cannot, again, we cannot guarantee their security in Ambazonia against the soldiers of French Cameroon's regular army and militia groups secretly set up by French Cameroon's government. Specifically, the no-movement policy is the following activities. Number one, it prohibits movement of cars affiliated or conducting any business associated with French Cameroon government in our territory. Number two, it prohibits mortuary services during this period. But all corpses must be buried immediately. No weekly church services are allowed except the regular Sunday services. Now, special times or timelines. The 5 to 8 of October is declared total ghost town in Ambazonia. There shall be no church service on October 7, 2018. Lock all your doors and pray at home with families. Now, these are the exceptions we have. Emergency movements under the approval and supervision of restoration forces is allowed. And these include, number 1, emergency vehicles, that is, ambulance vehicles, properly marked with emergency signs and symbols. Private cars taking pregnant women and patients to hospitals shall be allowed. Motorbikes carrying sick, pregnant women and patients to hospitals shall be allowed. Previously scheduled funeral ceremonies shall hold on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays only. All funeral services must end by 3 p.m. Amber time. Corpses from overseas shall be allowed to enter Ambazonia either on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. These days only. Sunday church services are allowed, but they shall end before 3 p.m. Amber time. We urge all Ambazonians to remain calm, be vigilant, and do not allow strangers into your house or community. The restoration forces are there on standby to help protect Ambazonians during this time, protect their property and ultimate freedom. You know them, we know them, work with them, and collaborate with them for our collective safety and defense against the terrorist soldiers of French Cameroon government. Now, this is very crucial. We are appealing to Ambazonians to stop and avoid as much as possible parking or moving into La République du Cameroun. Your lives and families are safer in our territory than anywhere in La République du Cameroun. We are very concerned that once Francophones from our territory start moving as they are doing back into their country, you who are moving into French Cameroon will become immediate targets for attacks and assassinations. In your city, town, or village, you know where to run to and hide if attacks are coming. But in French Cameroon, you will have nowhere to run and hide if they come after you. Please, do not move from the safety of your homes, of your towns, cities. But if you must move for security reasons, avoid moving into the enemy's territory. You will become an immediate target when you do that. Beginning Monday, we shall be bringing you daily updates on ABC TV. Make sure you have it running in your home. Please, take no instructions from any person or group except that person is coming from the interim government or from the ASC. No generals, no commanders on the ground have been given any authority to pass out any instructions or announcements that contradict the information you receive from the interim government and the ASC. Lastly, on behalf of the acting president, Dr. Samuel Sako, and the entire interim government, I want to extend our heartfelt condolences to all the families of our fallen heroes. those in Chomba, Bessie, Guzang, Bafut, Vatibo especially. We cannot, seeing your sacrifices, think of surrendering to French Cameroon. Ambazonians will forever remember you, and your sacrifice and your service shall be honored once we get to Boya. We want all the families involved to know that we are compiling all the names of our brave and courageous forces who have paid the ultimate price in this struggle. In due season, Ambazonians shall honor you. To the families, we promise that we shall never, never forget you once we fully take back our country. May the Lord protect you. May the Lord comfort you. May the Lord encourage you. And may the Lord wipe your tears. Long live the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Short live the war. Good day.